Hello everybody, today I have the pleasure to propose to you this key 77 entitled Multidimensionality. So, this is the third chapter in quote marked, third video, even if you can watch this first and there is not necessarily an order. Okay, so I choose this to try to make a metaphor regarding the multiverse. Multiverse would be like one orange would be a universe, and the entire tree would be the multiverse. It means that they are independent, but they are connected through the sap, okay, the roots, and also the seed they have inside. It can be planted and then blossoming and recreating like this endlessly, infinitely. Okay, so, and even if, you know, in this law, which is kind of joke I like to say, in the multiverse, there is a universe in which the multiverse doesn't exist. What does it mean? It means all the scenarios are possible, so even the contrary of a scenario as well, you see? Anyway, I invite you to think about that. Let's try to amplify the consciousness of this topic, multidimensionality, individually, collectively, notion of resonance, as above, so below. As below, so above. So, this is from Hermetism, but this is just conceptual, okay? But let's try to see something extremely important is the notion of consciousness, okay? I will separate, I need to dissociate the consciousness with a capital letter, the source, God, the great all, great wall, everything, okay? The everything, all right? This is, it would be the multiverse, okay? The consciousness, okay? A full potential of information and so on, and will as well. And individual consciousness, okay? As you are part of. So we're gonna enlarge this definition of consciousness. I would integrate your individual consciousness, like you filter your mental, your spirit, okay, and a little bit larger, even with your unconsciousness. Your unconsciousness, in psychoanalysis, what is it? Concretely, it is who is thinking about breathing when you sleep. This part, okay? It's automatic pilot, let's say, okay? But it's a part of your consciousness as well. But subtly, the unconsciousness is also a portal, a gate, a springboard to reach something higher, okay? So, your soul, your higher self, and thereby to flirt with the collective unconsciousness, the collective unthinking, the world Plato's ideas, Akasha record, for which it's still in a sphere, for which there is higher than this, we do agree. But let's say the memories, the astral memory, the universal library, for which, unfortunately, why it is limited, because in the library, okay, there is new books all the time, but you pick up what is already prepared, okay? Presently. So, it's limited because we would need to get even further to catch and to create much more than what the archetypes, the egregores present, okay? If you follow me. So, the consciousness would be the sum of the individual consciousness with a small c. You know, Victor Hugo says something very beautiful. He say, consciousness is God within man. I mean, mankind, of course. There is something I told you already in a hadith, Muslim hadith. It is said, I mean, it is supposed God expriming himself is limited, himself, itself, herself, oneself, okay? You understand that it is not, it's speechless. You know, by the way, one thing, just, and I'm gonna tell you what he said. Silence is the real, I mean, silence is the language of God. All the rest is, let's say, poor translation. we are limited with the words. That's why we need more to feel, to understand instead of understand. Okay. Well, so what is this hadith stating? So God is talking. I was a hidden treasure, and I loved to be discovered. So I created my creatures. It's marvelous. It's not egotic at all. It's not egotic. It's just a pleasure when you prepare food, for example, and you are happy. You know, grandma is preparing for hours and hours, and then for the dinner people arrive and they love it, and she even didn't took time to test it, but she's so happy with the fact to prepare what she shared through her heart. And this is exactly marvelous when it's happened to you, because when the consciousness re-experience oneself, actually there is something like reconnected. Reconnected is when you feel it, it's the universe. You, Y-O-U, you, individually, you, different, small you, okay? And like collectively, individually. But when this, you know, you have maybe some discussion so deep sometimes with people, and then it's not, you don't know who's talking. If you are talked, or if you're listening and so on, it's soul to soul. It's something deeper. This is what we are coming from. Atlantis, all the previous civilization, and even beyond of this and so on. And this is the future as well. I mean, the future, no future, now future. No future, now future. It's a joke. I mean, not really a joke, but the version that we have, like Pleiadians and so on and so forth, advanced civilization, are a version probably of our future as well, which is already happening now. There is only now and now everywhere. Now here, now here, now here, now here. Always, always. And if you shift, I told you, the W, now where, now here become nowhere. And if you shift your W, that's to say you reconnect to your higher self. And there is then thereby a block. And this is the consciousness finding back, putting together the different pieces of the puzzle game, and to admire the masterpiece. Pieces, and peace like peaceful. I think you get it. I'm talking more now to your soul and to your higher self than the mental. This is, you know, the consciousness with a capital letter and the small one is complementarity. It's not a battle at all. Is a complementarity always with a reciprocity and a resonance. It means that we are feeling it, and it is feeling us all the time, all the time, all the time. That's why the awakening process is individual. Nobody can go to toilet for yourself. I mean, for you. But the more you awaken, the more she's awakening, the more someone that you will never meet is doing as well. And the more I am doing. And the more I am doing, the more I try to share with you this kind of thing. And then endlessly. But it's work also on the second, if the more we are reducing our vibration and so on, the worse it is for the consciousness as well. Well, you know, this is difficult because this theme is not tangible. It's like you try to touch or to seize the soap bubble, I said in previous video. It's like you try to analyze when you're falling asleep and immediately you wake up. But on the other way around, you see? Wake up, awakening, you understand? You know, it's endless, and also it's always evolving. You know, I did this conference for 10 years in Shanghai, in the spiritual center of Shanghai. And I took it back recently. You know why? Because we say in the Taoism, you never take the same bath in the same river. Why? Because you are different from yesterday. You have another version of yourself, okay? Improved or contrary, whatever. And the water change is not the same water. What does it mean? It means that when I read something, it's happened to anybody to read a book when you are 20, then 5 years later and so on, and 30 years later, and you don't perceive the same thing. You don't have the same sensitivity. Same for even what I'm writing, imagine. You understand? that I have perception higher and further than what I wrote consciously at this moment. But I told you I'm writing kind of automatic pilot. But anyway, you know, it's I just draw up, set up back this, taking my firm notes, and actually I revised it through the eyes of my little prince, who is now 1 year and a half, and actually is a copy-paste of myself. He's a little me. When you see you at the same age, we are exactly the same. And when I see him, I have the feeling that I catch the consciousness through someone else, which is like it's even more than a human, someone who you love and so on. This is the fruit of your love, okay? But I imagine the mother side, it's even worse. I mean, better or bigger. But because and I see his eyes. He's not talking just some words, and you know, I still aware. I'm conscious, and I have memories of the fact not to be able to talk. For example, I'm 1 year and a half. Something like this, 2 years old, and I asking 2 years old. I'm asking my you know, I don't know, doudou, you know, the stuff that kids have always, you know, like. Well, anyway, and I'm saying want, just like badly said in French, want, but I cannot pronounce, okay, because I cannot speak, and then I feel super upset, and I'm crying, and I'm upset, and say, come on, make an effort, try to understand, and my sister arrived as a hero, and she said, he wants his doo-doo, and then, oh, thank you. And now, it's day for day, at last is exactly the same age than my first memory. And my first memory, I'm gonna tell you something. Actually, it was National Day, so I'm 1 year and 5 months and 90 days. And I cannot talk, and for me it's the apocalypse, the end of the world. I mean, the dark apocalypse. Some people think it's like this, means reveling, by the way, apocalypse. But anyway, it's fire crabs, national, like, so for me the war is terrible, and on a lake, so it's everywhere and everywhere. So I'm crying, and I'm hearing my parents, and they are laughing, so because it's a joyful day and so on. So I feel more comfortable in the sense that I don't know what's happening. Apparently, if they are laughing, it's not because this is the end of the world. And, you know, when I catch back, because I checked with them, it was correct according to the dates, it actually, I had a feeling, and it's happening for many times, some remembrance. Fasten your seatbelt. I had the feeling that these memories had been thoughts and remembered independently of my consciousness. Like if they had the autonomies or something else reactivated. And I have very often that's when I do meditation. And this is literally what we call remembrance. Remembrance, to remember, okay? To reactivate, remember, but not only physically. It's very deep meaning. All right, you know, let's continue, but I really want to re-explain briefly what is consciousness. The small consciousness is a filter, and the filter, it's existential. Existential, existing means literally to separate. You need to separate for the consciousness to incarnate, to understand the movie of life. Otherwise, it's not livable. It's like if you are the painting, the painter, and the landscape, and the characters, and so on. You need to step backwards to admire, okay, the masterpiece. It's the same principle, okay? So, transincarnation, what is it? Multidimensional dimension is through that. But it's ready to do again by summarizing just few minutes, 5 minutes maximum, on 5 big metaphors. Extremely important to integrate, to activate something within, okay? DNA and so on and so forth. The first one is like, you know, you want to drink. Okay, no problem, you do it. Okay. If there is a filter of a dam, okay, so that's fair enough, you have your glass. Okay. If you break up I mean, if you break the entire dam, it's a deluge. Your floodings, you died. Okay, so it's the same principle that I told you. You watch a movie of 2 hours, you accelerate by 2. Okay, it's 1 hour. It's understandable. Okay, no problem. 4, it's more difficult, and then you multiply like this. 8 is impossible to understand. Impossible. Okay, and 6,000 times 1 second. You cannot unroll the carpet with the pictures, so you don't see and you cannot manage that. Okay, that's why the consciousness, individual consciousness, is there as a filter. And imagine if you complexify the metaphor, you watch different movies at the same time. 2 is difficult, accelerated is worse. And if you have 1 billion of people of consciousness currently, but we have much more than this, because also all those passed away and so on. It's quite complex to follow the big, gigantic movie of life. The other metaphor I wanted to share, I told you all in the past, is like entangle graffiti. Okay, entangle, like completely entangled. So it doesn't mean anything when you watch on the wall like this. Only if you have a subway like this, doing that on a train, and you can see an animation. Okay, like when you do a handmade cartoon. I know it's not possible. You should do stroboscopic to have, notion of movement. But let's try to keep it as a metaphor. Okay, so line 1, the cat is eating the mouse. Okay, line 2, and 10 minutes later, the train is coming back, and in this scenario of life, the cat is always eating the mouse, and so on, so reactivating by the observer, by the consciousness individual. And the choice, they took the line 1 instead of line 2, for which the landscape would be, their reality would be, for example, the cat is sleeping, so he's not eating. Another one, the mouse, I don't know, is friend with the cat and so on. Okay, many scenarios like this. But the free will, listen to the language of bird with it. The green language for mystical, it's in all is the subtle language. There is higher, subtle meanings. Okay, so the sound of free will. Okay, I decide to do something is a choice. Free will, W-H-E-E-L. What does it mean? It means you cannot break up and so on. You know, in the merry-go-rounds, the kids, sometimes they do that with the will. It doesn't affect anything because it's automatic. Okay, so, but if you have the free will, W-I-L-L, okay, W, heal or sick, no, it's a joke. You steering, S-T-E-E-R. Steering, you angle, okay, you choose, okay, line 1, line 2, you decide. Okay, so free will, and you cannot manage anything because you believe in the medium. A shaman is say to you, oh, you will do that, so you co-create, you go in that way. But if you think that you can have, okay, there is a timeline like this, a multidimensionality, so you go there, a part of your small you is going there, a part of your consciousness, but your real desire of your consciousness can be through another one. And you are everywhere. You know, I know it's a bit complex too. Let's try to go further. 4th, this is the notion of the multiverse and also the transincarnation. Okay, you have a building of 20 levels. Okay, level 21st is now. Okay, 21st century. Okay, 15 is Columbus, discoveries. This is Inquisition in Europe, and so on and so forth. Okay, ground Jesus. Okay, and so on and so forth. -5. Plato, Buddha, -6, by the way. Anyway, you understood the principle. Okay, so they are still living in this space-time, but invisible for both of them. That's why the presence, as Einstein said, the past, the present, and the future are just an illusion. Okay, even if it's persistent. Referring to the first video, second video. and or. So then you separate. You have the first, the 21st level. By the way, we can have an extension or architects in the not visible for us so far, but potentially somewhere the architects as the patterns, okay, within. So you're gonna write it, you're gonna design it, giving, and then they build later. So it's a potential of the future. And then, so there is different windows through different families, okay? They cannot see each other. It could be like a consciousness, okay? Or one individual, they're all singles and so on. Then they're compiled like, you know, they had block 1, block 2, block 3, and so on. So like this, like domino. A version of you in the first apartment, a version of you in the second apartment for which you never watched this video, you don't know me, I never made any videos, and so on, so far, can be for anything, okay? Let's go further. DiCaprio theory, for my lack of imagination, I'm always using the same actor. He played, so the actor, the man, would be the soul, okay? And the reincarnations of DiCaprio would be the different movies he played in. Okay, so The Beach, Titanic, Wolf of Wall Street, and so on, so far. Okay, so Titanic, the version you know. Titanic, the version he missed the boat, so there is no movie. Or there is a movie, but without another character, or there is no love story, and or the whole everybody died, and there is never let's say a movie about this, because we ignore what's happened there concretely, because there was not a restitution of the consciousness at this moment. Okay, so but we can see it further as an image. You are in a plane, for example. Everybody has a screen. Okay, he's watching Titanic. Okay, he's just starring. He almost finished. Okay, it's a different space-time. Is also watching another movie and so on. He has a lot of work, DiCaprio. There are people reactivating that in their own planes, on the ground as well, and so on, so far. So, but you're gonna think, yeah, but I'm separate. But life could be like a hologram, okay? So when you watch a movie, you are completely absorbed. You have some emotions, some feelings. You are stressed for the hero. Sometimes you want to punch, you want to cry, and so on. You are in it. You see? So this illusion, I mean, which is real, but in a certain extent as well, the 3D is just kind of hologram for which different things happen according to your vibration. So, you know, there is Carl Jung, okay, say the following: in addition to our immediate consciousness, which is of an altogether personal nature, there is a second psychic system of a collective, universal, and personal nature, which is identical in all individuals. I invite you to think about that. Let's try to reconsider the consciousness and small conscious with the parallel with air. Okay, air here is the same air than inside a building. Okay, in a house, for example, in the room of a kid who just wake up, it smell, for instance. It smell bad. Daddy is smoking a cigarette. This is the same air, but another smelling. Mommy is preparing food, or puppy, lady as well. Why not? The daughter went to toilets and he smelled, or she put perfume and so on. So, but this is always the same air. Outside, someone is burning some trees or whatever. There is another smell, but this is always the same air. That's really the notion of let's say, the consciousness versus, but it's not versus. Versus is duality, but in Kotamar, it is a complementarity. Well, I could also have had the metaphor of the water, okay, solid, gaseous, or liquid. The water is water, H2O, okay. From the beginning of the mountain, okay, in snow, then the liquid, the river, till the ocean, then condensation, gas, and so on, like a endless cycle. If you put some electricity, enough, everything would be connected. But you cannot dissociate any drop. And in any drop, it can be completely tiny, or can be like a glass. Glass is also a drop. For giants, a lake, if its size is like the universe, is just tiny drop, and so on. Okay, so and also a drop for a very, very, very small nutrients or electrons is like an ocean, you see. So we can go quite far like this. Actually, let's try to understand something. Is the notion that this is what Max Planck says: all matters come from a force and exists only by it. We must suppose the existence under this force of a conscious and intelligent spirit. This spirit is the matrix of all matter. So there is a soul in the matter. He said as well, so Max Planck is the prime Nobel of physics and one of the father of quantum mechanics, so in 1918. So he said the divine matrix is our world, and it is also everything that exists in our world. It is us and all that we love, create, and experience. By living in the divine matrix, we express it as artists, passions, fears, dreams, desires through the essence of a mysterious quantum web. And this is marvelous. That's why the famous we are all one, okay, and not alone. Alone, all one. So it's the notion of everything is one. There is a common thread between the different consciousness, small consciousness, with the sap of the tree of life. You know, in the Genesis, the first word in Hebrew is Bereshit. Bereshit means weft, okay, W-E-F-T, okay, like like warp and a weft for a common thread and different thread like this, and you obtain fabrics, and then you cut and sew, and then you obtain garments. I am in garments. I'm CEO of a company of garments. But even that is initiatory. Why? Because even that I see some subtle messages. Like the Genesis in the Kabbalah, I would say, that's at the end of the time in quantum arc, the cycle, we'll take it out our costumes of skin to embrace and recover our garments of light. I invite you to meditate. You know, this notion of encompassing everything through everything is the fifth element. This is the chi, the ki, the prana, and so on. So it's a subtle substance, ether for Greek as well. We talk a lot in the notion of energies. I mean, in the video, I don't remember, you will check if you want. And that's why Nikola Tesla says something very interesting. Every living being is a motor connected to the driving wheel of the universe. While one might think that each living being is only affected by his direct environment, its external sphere of influence extends to infinity. So this is marvelous, because it means your consciousness, when you reestablish the link of the consciousness, this is a point of singularity, your sphere of influence and your sphere, your field of consciousness is incredible, is just everywhere. So we are encompassing, embracing all different versions of us individually and collectively. I hope it's quite clear. I say the metaphor. I wrote this. Excuse if there is some mistakes, but each living being represents a drop. Life being the ocean, the source. The waves are comparable to simultaneous periods of time as wavelength, embodying the surfer who represents consciousness, allows you to experience that everything is interconnected. Through there, we feel the cosmic current of the universe. YOUnivers. YOUnivers. Individually, collectively, oneness. I told you the true I am, the connection with the higher self, the source, whatever, the consciousness. I prefer to say it is, or one is. It's not, is even more subtle than we are. It's one is, it is. Okay? Think about it. So, you know, all this, we can go and we go like this and so on. There is the notion of resonance. As Rumi say, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean within a drop and so on. You contain the universe, you are the universe, you are, even just for your biology, you know, your genome, okay, contain the whole DNA that you express, okay? So, and you are containing billions and billions of cells of, let's say, cells and atoms and components. So you are literally a universe. But what is the most fascinating, you know, it's the fact that the consciousness, I mean, an atom as a consciousness, yes, and a cell as a consciousness. So you are, for example, kind of, you have two options. Either you feel like in a jail, like in a cell, you know, a prison, egotic prison. You think you are dissociated, separated, and or you are a cell of an enormous body that we could call the immensity, God, and so on. So either you feel separate from that, or that's why all one or alone. You see, if you just play like this. And so we are always turning like this. But when I say to you, Victor Hugo say, consciousness is God within mankind or man, it means literally this. Okay? You know, the question, the famous question with Einstein and Tagore in a great mystic from India in 1913 is the key question if a tree fall down is emitting some noise. So most of people think, of course, okay, and Einstein say for him there is the first vision. He think that indeed, he think and he say for joking, I hope that if I close the eyes, the moon will be still there. Okay, well, it's a bit limitative because it's not only one person. There is like this a connection as well. So of course there is also the degree of the faith and also is, well, anyway. The second point is things comes alive for us when first we integrate them in our consciousness. Okay, our filter. Second, things, I mean, events become true, alive for us when we move our consciousness onto the energetic channel of frequencies of things that already exist, like timeline, okay, like shifting, you know, like I told you, I'm always saying, all exists already and all ready to exist. You vibrate a certain frequency of the reality and you cannot stop getting this. This is not philosophy, this is science. Okay, you state of mind, mindset. Okay, positive is gonna work. Okay, shifting. It will never work. It doesn't work. So, you know, this is purely, then we have another thing. There is the gaze impacting, observer impact the object of observation. Okay, but it's as a block. But if there is an intention and or like the experience of the water, Maso Emoto, all this we know by heart. Okay, but it is also the notion of co-creation. It's also working for those who are skeptical. What does it mean? It means this is bullshit, it doesn't work, this co-creation, this is new age and so on. But I'm sorry to say, you're right. In your reality, you co-create the fact it doesn't work. So it will never work for you. You see? So it's super well done because actually everybody is satisfied. It's really the notion of Aladdin's lamp, Genie in the bottle of Aladdin, the 1001 Nights Persian stories. Okay, so it's your desires are my orders. Okay, I insist, Einstein say, match the frequency of the reality and you cannot stop getting it. This is not philosophy, this is science. We're invited into this period of time to reactivate our co-divine participation and co-creation and going towards the scenario we want. It is just a question of choice and vibration of heart, of love, of light. This is very important to be anchored, to be grounded, and to be confident through yourself and through the consciousness. Okay, there is a divine blueprint in a certain extent, and it's up to you because God, the consciousness is not a dictator. It doesn't want to impose you this or this. The fact we will all awaken, it's up to anybody individually. So we have to respect that. As long as you are anchored, can have a lot of wind and so on, you are aligned. You emit. And the more you are awakening individually, the more she is, the more and so on, and the more I am as well. Okay? So this is simple of complexity and complex of simplicity. This is the beauty of reading and co-creating the great book of life. Well, I hope it will help you to shape the masterpiece, to shape the masterpiece, I'm lost in my own normal strange. You see, I was lost completely. It was an infinite moment. The master key, sorry. Wow. Oh, maybe I just arrived freshly here. Actually, I just shifted maybe. No, it's a joke. So yeah, I hope that all elements, think about that, try to understand, to vibrate, to take whatever you want. It's a buffet, you take whatever you want. And I tell you, I hope it will help you to shape your master key of the field of consciousness, of love, of whatever you want. As you know, all the roads lead to Rome and to home and to the dome. Thank you for your attention and see you very soon.